Hey Dreamers, this is Jade and I'm here to do my flip through for the months of August and September of 2022. Yes, I am still behind. However, I wanted to get that done, so since I'm including 2 months in one, it'll probably be longer than normal as far as the chatty flip goes. I personally enjoy watching people's flip throughs where they're chatting and giving the whole story and it's a long video. I don't mind. I know some people do. So what I will do is do the chatty flip for people who enjoy chatty flips, and then I will do another one that I'll link below where it's just music and it's quick and it's just me flipping through the pages. So let's go ahead and get started. Did this as my August cover. I meant to go back and and I've done this with a few months. I meant to go back and add a little extra something around the edges, but I haven't, so it'll be all right. And so here we go, getting started. This is, it looks like the second. And it's going to be a thing because me trying just to even remember what was going on in these pages. But this was the day, actually, the fireplace needed a checkup. It gets a yearly checkup, I just said that. Yearly checkup once a year. Somebody comes by, make sure it's working properly. A lot of times the freaking remote control will go out. And so they'll have to redo that. I don't know what's going on with that. But they need to get that fixed. Because that doesn't make any sense to me, that the remote just blanks out and you no longer can use it until they come back the next year to fix it all over again. It's a hot mess. But yeah. So they came by to do the maintenance on the fireplace, and I believe this was the day I was sending out Happy Mail. It was an exercise in the artist way, if I'm not mistaken. And so I ended up sending mail out to my family. So yeah, that was pretty much what was going on the 2nd. And here I had gotten really back into my Animal Crossing island again. And I had been working on Deli's yard. So I had taken a few pictures of me sitting there, whatever. And I freaking love Deli. He was on my very first, and I have, I'm one of the people that will restart an island quick, okay? I've restarted at least probably 3 or 4 times, maybe possibly 5. However, Deli was on my very first island, and he had me at, when he told me that he needed to go for a walk because it makes his feet happy or something like that. I was like, it entertained his feet, something he said, to that effect. And I was like, sold, love him. He's so cute. He looks like somebody's little uncle with this vest and this button-up shirt. So anyway, I got Deli again on my latest island because I adore him. And I was working on his yard. And I believe this is when I figured out that I had a 5-star island finally. So I went to check. Because I saw, one of them little flowers, the lily of the valley that indicates your island is at 5 stars. So I went to check with Isabel, and I did indeed have a 5-star island, and I ended up getting the golden watering can recipe from that. So moving on, this was me finishing up. We had, if I'm not mistaken, we had gone to... Yeah, we had gone on a trip during the course of this month. And I was just going to record the trip separately. And I started on the book and I never finished. I don't know what it is with me and my trips sometimes. I probably should just start recording them directly into my creative journal or something. Because once the trip is done and I get back, I stall out on getting the details of the trips done. And it never happens. So I don't know. But I had been reading Legendborn when I went down to Miami. And I finished it while I was down there. So I needed something else to read on the plane. And the day that I finished Legendborn. So we stopped by a Target. And I ended up, because everybody had been raving about Daisy Jones and the Six. And so I picked that up. And I was like, okay, I'll read this. I have mixed feelings about this book. And I know the series is out, and I think all of the shows are playing now. So I do want to check out the series simply because I want to see what the differences are between the book and the series, and if any of the characters get better. Because real talk, for me, I didn't like the majority of the characters in this book. I did not like Daisy, whoever the lead dude was. I couldn't stand them. Like, they were terrible, awful people. The only person I could say 100% I adored was Camilla, which ended up being the wife of the lead guy of Daisy Jones and the Six. And then there was like one other dude, I can't remember his name, but he was the guy in the band that was very okay with it being just the thing for now. And, you know, hey, we did this and it's okay if we're not doing this anymore type of thing. Whoever that guy was, and who he was very content to just be done with it and go off and marry whoever it was he wanted to marry, and yada, yada, yada. Those two, like those two. The rest of the people in this book, and there was some like I was really liking, and then other stuff came up and I was like, no, absolutely not. So I don't know. Like I said, I have mixed feelings because I did enjoy the atmosphere of the book. Like, it really transports you back to that time of these bands coming up in like the 70s, and the bars and the smoke and the drinking and just all the drugs and all of that kind of stuff. It transports you there. So the author did a fantastic job with that. I just didn't like her characters, so I don't know. That's why it's just a meh for me, and I'm looking forward to watching the series because I'm hoping that somehow the characters are better. And then on this was the 21st, House of the Dragon premiered, and I was so excited for this. Yes, I feel like a fool, especially after being so invested in Game of Thrones, and they gave us that freaking terrible last season. I mean, it just garbage, just trash, you know, after just building up these wonderful, beautiful characters with these great stories and these wonderful arcs, to just throw all of it in the trash and say, whatever, none of that stuff matters. Absolutely not. And then now I'm back doing it again. But at least I can say that the head of the D&D guys that were the head of the producers of Game of Thrones is not involved with House of the Dragon. So I'm hoping that there will be a better outcome as far as once it actually ends. So we shall see. For me, the first episode was a great introduction, and it got us like completely back involved and enmeshed with that kind of Game of Thrones world. And I am glad to be seeing the story from the Targaryens perspective, even though it's like way before the events of Game of Thrones. I did end up getting Fire and Blood so I could read it and compare. So yeah, really, really enjoyed the beginning of House of the Dragon, really the whole season. And here I had the insomnia. I battle with this every now and again, and it's like sometimes it'll last for days, sometimes it'll be a couple weeks, and then sometimes it'll just be like a day and I'm up and it's just there's nothing I can do to get to sleep. But it seems to be getting better. I haven't had too many instances of it lately, but during this period it was a lot. So and then I had ordered some Chic Sparrows here. So it looks like one. I can't remember which one I ordered on this day. However, let's see. I'm trying to see if I can. It was a pocket. It was a pocket. It was another of the Kelly pockets because it was so pretty. But anyway, I needed a new battery for my older car this day. And so the AAA guy came out to replace my battery. And when he opened the door, why was there a hornet's nest in my car? So that's why I have these little bees and stuff here. I didn't have like specifically hornets to put there. But yes, there was a hornet's nest in my car. They had to clear that out just to be able to change my battery. And excuse me, I know that battery is not spelled correctly, and I did that on purpose because back in the day I listened to an Eddie Murphy CD, and there was this whole little skit about a battery, and I'm not gonna get into it simply because I think I explained it when I actually did the video, the journal with me for this video. So yeah, but it is deliberately misspelled. And then this was the day I watched Everything Everywhere All at Once. And I was so excited when I finally figured out the guy, Wayman, I think his character name was the cute little kid that played Data in the Goonies. And he was a cute little kid in Indiana Jones. And I was just so excited to see him on screen again, because it had been years and years and years. And when I finally realized it, it was just like, oh my God. Nostalgia. I mean, my childhood just came rushing back to me. I loved it. And not to mention that the movie was really, really good. Like, excellent. So, yeah. And that was the 27th of August. And then the 29th, just doing some maintenance, some cleaning and stuff like that. And then Serena Williams decided that she was going to retire and focus more on her family. And I think there were some other things she was doing business-wise that she wanted to get up and running, like maybe a training school or something like that. I can't completely remember, but I swear I heard something like that. And so this was the very beginning of the U.S. Open, and this was going to be her last tournament that she was going to be playing. And so I was taking pictures of the screen because I love me some Serena. And I'm not even really into tennis like that. Like my mom, my sister, and my grandma were really into tennis. I would just watch Serena and Venus. And every now and again, like maybe somebody else like Monfils or whatever. But for the most part, it was Serena for me. And so I enjoyed watching her play. And she won her first game. I believe she won the second one as well. And then the third one was when she was defeated. And so that was the end of it for her as far as the U.S. Open. But, I mean, this woman has left a ridiculous, amazing, fantastic, phenomenal legacy. So I am going to love seeing that live on. And so I wanted to record that. And these are just pictures I took of the TV. Yeah. So moving on. This is the end of the month, and these are my August favorites. And so as far as TV shows go, I watched this cute little show called Uncoupled with Neil Patrick Harris. This was on Netflix, if I'm not mistaken. Such a cute show, and I love that. Why am I always forgetting her name? Tisha Campbell. Thank you. Played his best friend. It was hilarious. It was a really, really good show. So check it out. And what I liked about it is the episodes were like short. If I'm not mistaken, I think they were like 30 minutes a piece, and it was a comedy, but also like a kind of a romance or whatever. So really cute. And then I watched a show called Echoes, and that was crazy. That was like a mind trip, whatever. So I would recommend that one as well. Also Netflix. And then, of course, Everything Everywhere All at Once. I'm sure everyone has heard about this by now, this movie. So if you haven't seen it, check it out. It's really good. And also one of my other favorites, I have been waiting on the second season of Only Murders in the Building. And that finally released. And I finished it in August. And it was so good, so cute. I love this show. I mean, this duo here is just always going to be chef's kiss. Martin Short and Steve Martin. And then you also have Selena Gomez in the mix. So definitely enjoyed that show. The entire watch list for the month of August was Keep Breathing, Uncoupled, Purple Hearts, Paper Girls. That was really cute. That was on Hulu. The Sandman, enjoyed that. It's kind of like a fantasy. Uncharted, that was cute. Lock and Key, that was the third and final season, if I'm not mistaken. I really enjoyed that series, so check it out as well. Echoes, I Just Killed My Dad, that was a documentary. Never Have I Ever, I think that was like season 3. That's an interesting show. It's like, Sometimes I like it, and sometimes I think that the main character gets on my nerves so bad sometimes. So, yeah. And then the next 365 days, a mess, okay? I don't know why I keep watching it. It's like a train wreck. It's like I have to watch these freaking movies to see how bad they are. I don't know if that makes any sense. But then Everything Everywhere All at Once and Only Murders in the Building. And then on repeat, I had Braced by Ishawana featuring Ed Sheeran. Love the song. It's like Afro beats and those two voices. Just a cute little summer song. So really enjoyed that. And then for my books that I read, I already told you all Legendborn by Tracy Dion and Daisy Jones and the Six. And while I found Daisy Jones and the Six to be meh, I really enjoyed Legendborn. What I really love about it is, first of all, the whole fantasy type of thing, and then it's based off of like the Arthurian legend. You guys know I love me some King Arthur. And then also, what just added like razzle dazzle over the whole thing for me is that this girl is on UNC's campus. And if I haven't told you all, I live in North Carolina, very near UNC. Like it's a 10-minute drive for me to get to Chapel Hill. My sister actually went to UNC for school. So like I know these places and landmarks that the book talks about, and so I just thought that was so freaking cool. And yeah, really enjoyed it. And I need to get the second book, but I'm trying to wait until it comes out on paperback since I have the first book in paperback. And I really don't enjoy hardback that much because it really hurts my hands holding them. So yeah, anyway, those were my August favorites. And moving on into September. Okay, this was the 6th of September, and I took myself out on an artist date. I was looking for the book It, hoping I could find it at one of the used bookstores so it wouldn't be so much, because I had looked for it at Barnes & Noble, and I was not finding it. Like, it was weird to me that this book has been out forever, and it was so hard to find. So I was like, okay, I'll go to my regular used bookstore and check there. And of course, I got the date wrong, and it was on a day that they were closed. So I was like, great. And I wasn't able to check there. However, I looked up another used bookstore in the area and checked there, but they didn't have it either. So that sucked. But it was fun to explore a new used bookstore. And I did end up buying a book. I think it was one by Lisa Kleypas, or Kleypas, however you say her last name. So that was fun. And then I had been wanting to have a Sonic slushie for forever. And there was one in the area where I was at. So, I also had to get my tags this day too for Old Roller, if I wasn't mistaken. Yeah, it was for Old Roller and not Dean. Yeah, because Dean I took care of back in May and June. So this was Old Roller's turn of getting her tags and stuff like that. So, got my Sonic slushie. The only thing about it was I usually get a mix of strawberry and watermelon. It is chef's kiss. And I have to shout out to my homegirl, Mignon, for putting me onto that years and years ago. But unfortunately they didn't have watermelon this go around, so I just got the strawberry. But it was good. I enjoyed it, and I am really kind of wanting another one. And I'm talking about it. And this was the day they released Disney Dreamlight Valley early. If I'm not mistaken, it would have been released sometime this year, and if you had waited for the release of this year, you could have gotten it free. But who's doing that? If you like present this type of game to people who are gamers or like cozy games and stuff like that, who's waiting? So yes, I paid for it, and I really enjoyed playing it. But unfortunately, it was a lot of problems with this game on the Switch, and I would find myself playing the game and and then, you know, making all this progress, and then my game would crash, and I'd go back into it, and I had lost all this progress, and that happened more than a little bit, and so eventually I was over it, and I just stopped playing it. So maybe it's better by now. I really should check into that. However, I haven't bothered to go back to it because I was so incredibly frustrated by that. So moving on to, I don't even know. Oh, the 17th. I was like, I don't even know what day this is. Again, I was hit with the insomnia, so I was up. And as I said before, I had, House of the Dragon had started airing back in like late August. So I definitely picked up Fire and Blood, which is what House of the Dragon is based off of as far as the book by George R.R. Martin. And so since I couldn't sleep, I just ended up finishing the book, and it was so good. And now I'm very, very curious to see where they take this series as far as House of the Dragon, and the Dance of Dragons, and then like how far through the lineage do they plan on carrying this show is what I want to know. Because where it ends, and I'm not going to say anything to spoil anything, but where it ends, there's more. There's definitely more. So I know that George said that he is going to come out with a second part of Fire and Blood, because it's written, I love the way that it's written. It's less of a, I mean, it's like a novel, but it's more like a history. So you have like these people who have gathered the information of word of mouth, maybe I would say, or written accounts of what happened, and they say, well, this person said that this happened this way, but then it's written this way, or this person said it's this way. And I feel like the last version is usually the version that they think is more so the truth. I'm not sure if I'm even explaining that right, but those of you who have read the book, I think will understand more what I'm saying. So it was really, really good, and I'm looking forward to the second book, because as we all know, if we have watched Game of Thrones, the Targaryen reign ended with King Aerys, the Mad King. And we have not gotten to that. It ends way before the Mad King even is like a thought. So, very interested in continuing on with that. And so I ended up going out later in the day, I think with my mom, and we stopped by Sam's, and they had like this Sherpa. It's like a flannel but Sherpa lined coat, jacket. I can't even explain. It looks like a shirt. You can button it up. It has the pockets and everything, but it on the inside is lined with shirt. So it's more like a jacket than a shirt. I freaking love it. And it reminded me so much of my granddaddy. I had to get it because he loved his flannel shirts, his button-ups. And he always had to have a pocket because he needed a place to keep his pens and his cigars. Okay, so he always had pockets on his shirt. And I was like, and his nickname was Hooks. So I just put Channeling Hooks here because I was like, I want it. I have to have it. And I picked it up. And so, yeah, that's what was going on the 17th. And then on the 23rd, since I couldn't find it in any of the freaking normal bookstores, nor in any of the used bookstores in my area, I finally just ordered it online from, what's the place? From the Book Depository. And I think they do free shipping, which is cool. So I got my book in the mail that day, and I was looking forward to reading it, because it had been something on my list for a long time, reading it. And so I decided to do that. And then later on that day, I ended up watching The Bling Ring. So like not the movie, but they actually made the documentary of what really happened with these kids and them stealing clothes and stuff like that from celebrities. So I ended up watching that, and that was the 23rd. And on the 29th, I was really excited because my first Hobonichi order came through. And so I immediately opened it up and filmed my haul. So that was pretty much what was going on the 29th. And this was the day I used my Daler Rowney acrylic paint. And I was saying in that video that I really liked it because you could put something down, and if you needed to peel it back up, the paint wasn't really coming off. However, I will say since then I have tried it again, and it does pill up sometimes. So just so you all know. Okay. And then my favorites for the month of September. There was some good ones, I think. One of them was, I really enjoyed that movie, Do Revenge. It was so giving me Clueless vibes with the way that they dressed and just like the kind of drama that was going on and stuff like that. Loved it. I thought it was a cute movie. Again, that was on Netflix. And then one of my other favorites for the month was P-Valley. Absolutely love this show. It's so good. It's so good. So it was the second season. I watched the first season. The second season was really good. And they got my boy in it. I can't remember his name, but he is so fine. So I enjoy him a lot. And then I watched that movie on Netflix, Love in the Villa, and it was a cute little romantic comedy. So I enjoyed that as well. And then there was this show, I don't know if you all have heard of it, but it was on Hulu and it was called Claim to Fame. And my sister actually put us on to it. And basically what it is all of these people who are somehow related to a celebrity are put into this house. The Jonas Brothers, one of the ones from the group, and then like the youngest brother who's not in the group at all, hosted it. But so you have all of these relatives of celebrities, and nobody knows who anybody is unless they can just figure it out from your face, because you look ridiculously like your celebrity person. Which one person, it was very clear from the beginning to everybody who she belonged to. You know what I'm saying? However, so you would get clues, they would get clues and stuff to different people. So, and I'm trying to explain this. I know you guys like Jade. Wrap it up. Okay, so at the end they would have like a little gathering at the end of the day for whatever, after whatever challenge that they did. And what would happen is everybody would have to vote on who they wanted to put up or whatever. And then the person would have to guess who their celebrity person was. And if they guessed right, then they stayed. But if they guessed wrong, then the other person stayed in the house. It was such a good show. I did not know that I would enjoy it that much. So check it out. It's on Hulu, called Claim to Fame. And I'm looking forward to another season. Let's see. This didn't come out until August or September. So it's probably going to be a little while. But such a good show. So my completed list of shows that I watched this month in September was P-Valley, Love in the Villa, Devil in Ohio. That was crazy. That was a good show, but it was, woo, child. Morpheus, Cobra Kai. So cheesy, so nostalgic. Freaking love Cobra Kai. End of the Road. That was with Queen Latifah and Ludacris, if I'm not mistaken. Excuse me. Claim to Fame. Fakes. That was not a good show. Like, it just did not keep my interest at all. Love is Blind, After the Altar, Eternally Confused and Eager for Love, The Real Bling Ring, Hollywood Heist, Sins of Our Mother. That was crazy. Okay. Wow. That movie Lou, and of course Do Revenge. And on my reading list, since I didn't have any music that I was listening to on repeat, I just filled it with the books that I ended up reading. And I actually really enjoyed all of them, except for this one. I enjoyed it, but there was a part that started getting on my nerves. But let's go through them. Fire and Blood, I already waxed poetic about that. And this one, Inner Work, is this book by Robert Johnson, and it discusses basically how to interpret your dreams, and also this thing called active imagination. And it was so interesting and so cool. I want to read some more books by him. And I want to get back to that book and actually kind of work through the things that he suggests you try. So definitely a good book. Really, really enjoyed that. And then there was this series, I found it on TikTok, and it's called, it's a It's a trilogy. And then this guy also has like friends that he works with, and they also end up having their own books as well. I haven't gotten into their books yet. However, I did read his. His name is Ben. I can't remember the last name at the moment. Really enjoyed the first story, Big Ben. The Benefactor, it was pretty good. However, it got to the point where, okay, I love me some romance. And I think people who enjoy romance like that part where there's like, oh, like the guy kind of claims the girl's like, you're mine, which is cool, fine, do it 1-2 times, whatever. I mean, the amount of times he said it in this book, I wanted to throw up. Okay, I was like, okay, we freaking get it. Like, okay, we get it. Stop saying that. Like, it's getting repetitive and ridiculous now. Okay. So it was too much. It was team too much, and it really got on my nerves, and I was just ready to be done with that book. And I went on to read the third book in the series, which it got better. It was less of that bullshit and more of just telling the story. So yeah, yeah. I mean, overall, it was a pretty good series, and I'm interested in reading the friends' accounts of their books or whatever. But Ben in the second book got on my damn nerves. So that is pretty much it for August and September. If you have any comments or questions about anything, then please leave those below. As I said, well, I guess it wouldn't matter if you got to the end of this video, but I am going to record just a flip through with some music behind it. So if you don't want to do the chatty video, you can watch that. Anyway, that is it for this. If you enjoy this content, please consider liking, subscribing, and sharing. That will definitely help me be seen in the algorithm. So, and I will catch you all in the next video. Bye.